Yes, sir. We can start, sir.
Okay, so welcome to this third lecture on Yoga Vasishtha. We will start with a small prayer, few upas, and Om Sahana. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Paravavakai Tejasvimavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. So today we are going to discuss about yoga therapy, and it is called integrated approach of yoga therapy, because in yoga the whole being is considered. In allopathic medicine, generally the medicine is given for the disease, for the body, not for the mind, not for the intellect. So here, since it is holistic approach, the whole being, it is called as integrated approach of yoga therapy. You know, these two words which are used in Sanskrit, which are called as Vyadhi and Samadhi. Vyadhi means disease. Samadhi is actually integration of personality. So when the personality is well integrated, there is no Vyadhi at all. If the various levels of personality, if they are not in harmony with each other, then the disease develops. That is what the yoga philosophy says. So it is because of disharmony that the disease develops. If the harmony is developed completely, then you go towards samadhi. So those are the two main ideas in Yoga Vasishtha as well. Now, as we have seen in the beginning, that Yoga Vasishtha is a dialogue between Rama and his guru Vasishtha, and variety of questions Rama asked to Vasishtha, and Vasishtha is answering. That is how this huge text, which we call as Yoga Vasishtha, has come. So one of the questions which Rama asked to Vasishtha Rishi is what are the diseases? How diseases occur in the body? And what is the remedy for the diseases? How we can cure the diseases? So that is precisely the part of yoga therapy which we are going to discuss. तो रामचंद्र पूछते हैं वशिष्ठ मुनि को कि व्याधियां क्यों पैदा होती है, व्याधियां क्या है, और फिर उसके प्रकार कितने हैं, और उनका निराकरण, व्याधियों का निवारण किस प्रकार करना है. तो उनमें जो संवाद हुआ उस पर ही ये जो योग वशिष्ठ का इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच है जिसके बारे में हम चर्चा करने लगे जा रहे हैं वो है. सो द फर्स्ट आंसर विच वशिष्ठ ऋषि गिव्स, so I hope that you have the slides in front of you. Do they have the slides with them? Okay, so please refer to the slides when I am talking so that it will become relevant to you. So Yoga Vasishtha tells Vyadhis are of two kinds. According to Vasishtha Rishi, Vyadhi, the diseases are of two kinds. One he says as Adhija Vyadhi, Another he calls as Anadhija Vyadhi. So all the diseases, they are categorized into two major categories: Adhija Vyadhi, Anadhija Vyadhi. Anadhija Vyadhis are those which are not related to mind. जो मन के संबंधित नहीं है, ऐसे व्याधियों को अनाधिज व्याधि ऐसा कहा जाता है। जो मन से संबंधित है उनको आधिज व्याधि. So those diseases which are related to the mind, they are known as adhija vyadhi. And even modern science today says that 90% of the diseases, they are adhija vyadhis. Their root, their seeds are in the mind only. 90% जो रोग है उनका बीज मन में ही होता है, ऐसा अभी का वैद्यक शास्त्र, द मेडिकल साइंस ऑल्सो सेज लाइक दैट. ओनली 10% डिसीजेस आर प्योरली फिजिकल इन नेचर, नॉट रिलेटेड टू माइंड. So diseases like infectious diseases, what are the anadhija vyadhi? All the infectious diseases, contagious diseases, diseases produced by pollution, accidents, or in short we can say all those diseases whose cause is outside, बाह्य कारणों से होने वाले रोग, उनको अनाधिज व्याधि ऐसा कहते. रोग जंतु द्वारा होने वाले रोग, संसर्गजन्य रोग, फिर अपघात, एक्सीडेंट से होने वाले रोग, प्रदूषण द्वारा पैदा होने वाले रोग, ये सब रोगों का कारण बाहर है, बाह्य कारणों से होते हैं. इन सबको अनाधिज व्याधि ऐसा कहते हैं. और जैसा मैंने कहा ये केवल 10% है. Only 10% of the diseases have cause outside, and if those outside causes are taken care of, the disease goes. So अगर रोग जंतु द्वारा रोग हुआ है तो आप ऐसे दवाई लेंगे कि जिससे वो रोग जंतु मर जाएंगे, तो वो रोग है वो चला जाएगा. So you have to really take care of the external cause and eliminate the external cause, the disease will go. In Yoga Vasishtha, 3 kinds of remedies have been mentioned for अनाधिज व्याधि. अनाधिज व्याधियों के लिए भी 3 प्रकार की चिकित्सा बताई गई है. मणि मंत्र औषधि, that is what the Yoga Vasishtha says. मणि मंत्र औषधि. So mani, there was some sort of crystal therapy. They used to use some gems, some crystals for curing the diseases. And sometimes there were people who used to use mantras, variety of mantras. You might have at least known that there are people, if there is a snake bite, then to reduce the effect of poison, they start chanting the mantras and bring down the effect of poison. विष उतारने के लिए भी ऐसे मंत्र होते हैं, ऐसा बताते हैं. जब सांप ने अगर काटा है और विष है तो उसको उतारने के लिए भी मंत्र होते हैं. सो मंत्र सिद्धि उनको होती है, वो मंत्र का उपयोग होता है. But nowadays, at least we do not know much about money and mantra, the crystal therapy, and also the mantra therapy. But it was there, existing, and now also you find people who are using them, but very rarely. But aushadhi, so aushadhi means medicine. So what Vasishtha Muni is telling, that if you are suffering from infectious diseases, contagious diseases, and all that, adhija vyadhi, anadhija vyadhi, go to the doctor and take medicine. So yoga doesn't claim that yoga can cure all the diseases. Yoga doesn't claim like that. Actually, yoga is not meant for curing diseases. The aim of yoga is to liberate the self, to know the self. आत्मज्ञान के लिए, मुक्ति के लिए योग साधना दी गई. लेकिन क्योंकि योग साधना द्वारा मन शांत हो जाता है, तनाव कम हो जाते हैं, और क्योंकि बहुत सारे रोग तनावजन्य रोग है, इसलिए योग थेरेपी का उपयोग बहुत ज्यादा होने लगा, विच इज वेरी वाइड स्प्रेड साइंस टुडे, हाईली popular science today, that so many diseases where there is no answer in the other system for those diseases. For example, asthma, we have a long list of diseases which are known as psychosomatic asthma, diabetes, hypertension, hmm, and then joint pains, and then insomnia, so irritable bowel syndrome, a long, long, long list of diseases which originate at the mental level, and they are known as stress-induced diseases, about which we will talk a little later. So because yoga can really release those tensions and calm down the mind, yoga therapy became popular. So even in anadhija vyadhis, purely physical diseases, yoga therapy helps quite a lot, because the immune system becomes stronger and stronger. If you are regularly practicing yoga, you are practicing asanas, pranayama, doing meditation, and so on and so forth, your immune system will be stronger, and you are less likely to get even anadhija vyadhi. In corona period, they found that those people who are practicing yoga, they very few of them were affected, really speaking. And you might be knowing that in Pune, this Dinanath Mangeshkar hospital, they used to use, even there, all the staff, medical staff, they used to do Jalaneti and Sutraneti almost every day, and they found that people who are doing it regularly, they are not suffering from corona at all, because the immune system becomes stronger and stronger. So even in anadhija vyadhi also, yoga is helpful. Prevention is better than cure. Instead of getting the disease and then curing it, it is better not to get it at all. So yoga therapy could be preventive in case of anadhija vyadhi. जो बाह्य कारणों से होने वाले रोग है, उनके लिए भी ये योग चिकित्सा अच्छी होती है, क्योंकि रोग प्रतिकारक शक्ति मनुष्य की बढ़ते जाती है। अगर आप आसन, प्राणायाम और खास करके क्रियाओं का अभ्यास आपका अच्छा है, तो संसर्गजन्य रोग या रोग जंतु द्वारा होने वाले रोग भी आपको होने का चांस कम हो जाता है। सो दैट इज अबाउट अनाधिज व्याधि। Now we come to Adhija Vyadhi. So 90% of the diseases are Adhija Vyadhi, diseases which are related to mind. And these Adhija Vyadhi also, Yoga Vasishtha says, are divided into two parts. They are called as Sara and Samanya. Adhija Vyadhi, they are of two types, Sara Vyadhi and Samanya Vyadhi. So Sara Vyadhis are those essential type of diseases. What is meant by Sara Vyadhi? Essential type of diseases. What do you mean by that? Yoga Vasishtha says that whosoever is born suffers from these diseases. जो जिसका जिसका भी जन्म हुआ है, every living being. For example, Yoga Vasishtha says cycle of birth and death itself is a disease. According to Yoga Vasishtha, जन्म मृत्यु का ये जो चक्र है, ये भी एक प्रकार का रोग ही है, ऐसा योग वशिष्ठ बताता है। पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम यह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे. So that is also disease according to Yoga Vasishtha. Having or ego. Whosoever is born has ego, that individual consciousness, the idea of me and mine, idea of I should live. Nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to survive. Abhinivesha klesha. as Patanjali would say it. So they are common to all. Okay, everybody, whosoever is born. How to get cure from this disease? Yoga Vasishtha says it is only due to self-knowledge, Atma Jnana, spiritual remedy. If you do spiritual sadhana, if you know yourself, if you have Atma Bodha, if you realize the self or realize God, whatever way you want to talk about it, आध्यात्मिक साधना करके मैं कौन हूँ या ईश्वर का साक्षात्कार अगर आपको हो जाता है, तो फिर ये जन्म मृत्यु के चक्र से बाहर आप चले जाते हैं. यू गो बियॉन्ड द साइकिल ऑफ बर्थ एंड डेथ, एंड दैट इज हाउ सारा व्याधिज कैन बी ओवरकम. सो द cure for Saravadis is only spiritual remedies, doing spiritual sadhana, having the self-realization. Now the other kind of vyadhi is known as Samanya Vyadhi. In Adhija Vyadhi, Sara Vyadhi and Samanya Vyadhi. So the Samanya Vyadhi, they are called as psychosomatic diseases. This is the real area of yoga therapy we are talking about. ये जो सामान्य व्याधि है, मनोशारीरिक रोग जिसको कहते हैं सामान्य व्याधि, they are called as psychosomatic ailments. Psyche means mind, soma means body. So all those diseases which originate at the psychic level, at the mental level, and then get reflected at the physical level, all such diseases, they are known as psychosomatic diseases. जिनकी जड़ मानसिक तनाव में होती है और जो फिर शरीर में प्रकट हो जाते हैं, ऐसी सारी व्याधियां मनोशारीरिक रोग कहलाती है. और उनको बहुत बड़ी लंबी लिस्ट उनकी आजकल है, जैसे दमा है, मधुमेह है, रक्तचाप है, संधिवात है, निद्रा नाश है, so many types of diseases, and every day it is going on increasing all over the world. So they are the psychosomatic diseases for which probably there is no answer at all even in the medicine. You know, if one is suffering from asthma, the medicines which you get is to see that asthma attack goes. That doesn't guarantee that the attack will not come again. There is no cure for asthma. You know, even in medical science, in the research journals, you will find once an asthmatic, ever an asthmatic. Once an asthmatic, ever an asthmatic. जिसको एक बार दमा लग गया, जीवन भर उसके साथ ही रहेगा. उसका कोई ऐसा उपाय नहीं है. केवल इतना ही है कि अगर दमा, उसका अटैक अगर आ गया, तो आप दवा खा सकते हैं और वो अटैक से रिलीफ पा सकते हैं, उतना ही. ऐसी अभी तक दवा नहीं मिली है वो एलोपैथिक मेडिसिन में या दूसरे मेडिसिन में, जिससे दवा खाने से पूर्ण रूप से दमा निवारण हो या रक्तचाप का निवारण हो. यू आर ओनली कंट्रोलिंग द हाइपरटेंशन by taking, and those diseases, those medicines are lifelong medicines. You have to go on taking. If you stop them, once again the hypertension or blood pressure will increase. Sugar, you have to take the medicine in order, and lot of restrictions of diet. You have to maintain all that. Now, what is cure actually? Like a normal person, you can't go on eating each and everything and sweets and everything and maintain the sugar level. Okay, so you have to take medicine, you have to control your diet very strictly, then only you are able to control the diabetes. So that is why there is no permanent solution even in allopathic medicines about all these diseases which we call as psychosomatic diseases, and they are called as tension-induced diseases. Psychosomatic diseases are also known as tension-induced diseases. So we shall come to that from Yoga Vasishtha point of view a little later. But before we come to psychosomatic diseases, I have sent to you another chart also. You can refer to it. How really stress develops in our body. किस प्रकार हमारे अंदर ये चिंता या जिसको हम स्ट्रेस ऐसा कहते हैं, तनाव कहते हैं। तनाव क्या होता है, तनाव का परिणाम हमारे शरीर पर क्या होता है, इसका बहुत अभ्यास वैज्ञानिक दृष्टि से हुआ है। लॉट ऑफ स्टडी हैज बीन डन, दे हैव रियली स्टडीड इट। गिव इट टू हर, excuse me, just a moment. So what is stress? That is the thing which happens. So now suppose if we take a very simple example at what happens during the stress. You know, stress is a demanding situation on human physiology. As soon as stress develops, the body is geared up to face the stress, and for that so many changes occur within moments in our body. जब भी तनावजन्य स्थिति पैदा होती है हमारे शरीर में, उस तनाव का सामना करने के लिए बहुत प्रकार के बदलाव अपने आप हो जाते हैं। कौन से बदलाव आ जाते हैं वो चार्ट में दिया हुआ है, उसके बारे में हम चर्चा करेंगे ही। लेकिन ये तनावजन्य परिस्थिति है, ये कैसा हम समझ लेते हैं। हमारे दिमाग में एक सेंटर है, केंद्र है, उसका नाम हाइपोथैलेमस। दैट इज द नेम ऑफ द सेंटर इन आवर ब्रेन, हाइपोथैलेमस। इट रिकॉग्नाइजेस दैट दिस इज स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन। हमारे दिमाग के अंदर जो हाइपोथैलेमस ये केंद्र है, वो बोलता है कि हाँ ये तो बहुत तनावजन्य स्थिति है, अभी तुमको संभालना पड़ेगा खुद को, यू हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट योर सेल्फ। And as soon as it recognizes that this is stressful situation, two types of signals are sent from hypothalamus. One is chemical signal, another is electrical signal. These two types of signals, they proceed from hypothalamus. एक रासायनिक प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाती है जो अंतःस्त्रावी ग्रंथियों को संदेश चला जाता है। अंतःस्त्रावी ग्रंथि यानी जिन ग्रंथियों के जो द्रव होते हैं वो अपने खून में डायरेक्ट मिल जाते हैं। सो दे आर कॉल्ड डक्टलेस ग्लैंड्स, दे आर कॉल्ड एज द एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स, like the pituitary gland, like the thyroid gland which is here, and the stress glands which are just above our kidneys. There are two glands which are known as adrenal glands, okay, which secretes a hormone which is known as adrenaline, which is a stress hormone. Even a small amount of adrenaline can bring about so much of changes in our body. So these changes are brought about by the glands which are called ductless glands, and mainly the stress glands which are about the kidneys, and small amount of hormone will bring about lot of changes which are shown in your chart. Another signal is electrical signal which goes to autonomic nervous system, ANS, autonomic nervous system, स्वायत्त मज्जा संस्था, जो अपने आप काम करती है। अपने आप काम करने वाली संस्था जो होती है उसको स्वायत्त मज्जा संस्था, एटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम ऐसा कहते हैं। एंड दैट एटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम हैज टू पार्ट्स, वन इज कॉल्ड एज सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम, अनदर इज कॉल्ड एज पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम। सो सिंपैथेटिक एंड पैरासिम्पैथेटिक, they are the two aspects of the autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system sympathizes with us and therefore brings about lot of changes. Some of the stimulants are parasympathetic in nature. So in your chart, we have shown how the sympathetic nervous system brings about changes how the parasympathetic nervous system, their functions are exactly balancing each other. Whatever parasympathetic, when the stress situation is there, if the parasympathetic is dominating, and when the stress goes, the sympathetic will bring it back to normal, and vice versa. If the sympathetic is triggered off, and therefore heartbeat has increased and pulse rate has increased, when the stress situation has gone, parasympathetic brings the pulse rate to the normal, heartbeat to the normal, and everything back to the normal, restorative type of system. So that is how the two systems, they balance each other. But then in some of the diseases, it is parasympathetic which is stimulated more than sympathetic. Okay. Acidity, irritable bowel syndrome, these are the diseases which occur because of the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. तो कुछ रोग ऐसा होते हैं कि जो अनुकंपी और परानुकंपी, ऐसे हिंदी में उसके नाम है, सिंपथेटिक, अनुकंपी, पैरासिम्पथेटिक, परानुकंपी. So parasympathetic gets triggered off in acidity, or even in asthma, it is the parasympathetic nervous system which is triggered off, which constricts the bronchus, and therefore you have difficulty in breathing. So it is not always that the sympathetic nervous system is triggered off and you get the disease. Some people, it is the parasympathetic which is triggered off, and you have either constriction of the bronchus or more acid secretion, or the irritation of the bowels, whether you get irritable bowel syndrome, one of the diseases. Very funny type of disease. Irritable bowel syndrome means you have the idea of going to the lavatory so many times, n number of, it's a very horrible disease. If one is suffering from that, generally they say that irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, is the disease of IAS executives. Why? Because those who are under tremendous tension, a typical executive is getting ready for certain meeting, very important meeting, and then just before the meeting, he wants to go to the toilet and come back. And in between meeting also, if the tension comes, he said, just excuse me for a moment, and he goes to the toilet. Such people, when they take up any journey by bus or something, the very idea that toilets may not be available creates that sensation in them. So when they lock the door and everything, come down the staircase, and then they feel that, oh, I should once again go to the toilet and come. So they come back and again open the toilet, go, come back. And when they reach the bus stand, they do not look for their bus, they look for the toilets first. Very irritable bowel syndrome is really very horrible type of thing. And it is a psychosomatic disease, tension-induced disease. So like that, all these diseases, they are of that type only. Now, why do they occur really? What happens to our body during stress? तनावजन्य स्थिति में कैसे बदलाव हमारे शरीर में आते हैं? अभी उदाहरण के तौर पर अगर हम जंगल में चले गए हैं, पिकनिक के लिए चले गए, यू आर वॉकिंग, ऑल ऑफ ए सडन you come across a cobra, snake, and unfortunately the cobra also has seen you and starts chasing you. Now the hypothalamus says, yes, you have to protect yourself. This is a dangerous situation. This is stressful situation. So hypothalamus will immediately send a signal to the endocrine glands as well as to the autonomic nervous system. And the first response is wideness of the eyes. You see, if anybody under stress, eyes will become like, oh my God, eyes will be very widening of the eyes. First thing, inside, eyes get widened, and then there are two types of reactions when the stress comes. One is called as fight reaction, another is called as flight reaction. some people when stress develop they want to fight the stress. आग अगर लग गई है तो बहुत सारे लोग तो भाग जाएंगे वहां से, वो तो बुद्धिमानी का काम वही है, जहां आग लगी है वहां से भाग जाओ. सो फ्लाइट रिएक्शन, इफ कोबरा इज देयर, flight reaction is better. You run away from there, but there will be people who will take a stick and try to fight with the cobra. But the measurements tell either you have flight reaction or a fight reaction, more or less the same kind of reactions takes place within the body. आप वहां से भाग भी जाओ या आप जो तनावजन्य स्थिति है उसका सामना करो, दोनों ही सिचुएशन में जो शरीर में बदलाव आते हैं वो सेम ही होते हैं. सो नाउ यू नीड एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी एनर्जी to fight. So suppose if you decide to run when you see the cobra, your calf muscle should be more stronger. So the muscle tone increases during the stress, particularly those muscles who are working, their muscle tone increases. They need extraordinary energy. So the blood supply, how the energy is supplied, it is supplied through the blood. And therefore the blood supply to the calf muscle will invariably increase if you are running because of stress. जो खून है उसका सप्लाई ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है because, and how the energy is produced because of the sugar, so that is why lot of sugar which is stored generally in the liver, from the liver lot of sugar is released in the blood whenever you are under stress because you need more energy. So sugar level increases at once, and the sugar burns along with oxygen which comes from outside. When oxygen combines with sugar, because of the burning of the sugar, lot of energy is created in the body. So that is why more oxygen is required. More oxygen comes from more respiration, and therefore as soon as you are under stress, the respiratory rate will increase. You start breathing hard, you start breathing very fast, your pulse rate increases because heart starts pumping the blood very fast. So pulse rate will increase, respiratory rate will increase, blood will go, the muscle tone will increase, okay, sugar level in the blood will increase, and because of all this the heat in the body will increase. ये जो सारी प्रक्रिया हो जाए, आप दौड़ रहे हैं और मसल इतना काम कर रहे हैं तो शरीर का तापमान बढ़ जाता है, और शरीर का तापमान कम रहने के लिए घाम, गर्म, व्हाट वी कॉल ए स्वेट, पसीना छूट जाता है पूरे शरीर पर, to in order to keep the, that is why under stressful situation you have sweat all over the body, पसीना पसीना छूट जाता है. और उसी के साथ और क्या होता है कि because you need more and more blood to the muscles which are functioning, the blood flow from other organs which are not functioning is diverted. For example, digestion can wait for some time. So the blood which is flowing towards the digestive secretions, those blood vessels will get constricted. जिन रक्तवाहिनियों से पचन संस्था की ओर खून का प्रवाह जा रहा है उसका आकुंचन हो जाता है. Even you lose the color of the face. That is why आप अगर बहुत स्ट्रेस के अंदर है ना तो आपके चेहरे का रंग उड़ जाता है, चेहरा सफेद हो जाता है. Why? Because the blood coming to the face, it is constricted. So that is why they say that never take food when you are under stress. आजकल ये भी हम देखते हैं कि बहुत सारे लोग बहुत ज्यादा बिजी होते हैं और कैसा तो भी अभी मुझे मीटिंग में जाना है, अभी कुछ तो भी खाओ, ऐसा करके खा के वेरी वेरी रॉन्ग, because the blood flow is quite restricted. That is why when we take food in our system, actually you have to chant certain mantras before taking the food. That is to calm down the mind actually. Hmm. You invoke pranaya swaha, panaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. Huh? And then you take food after offering to God. So your mind is calmed down. Your digestive system is ready for taking the food. And after that, if you take the food, it will be digested properly. If you are taking in hurry, under tension, definitely it will lead to diseases. So this is what is happening. And all these things, all these changes, widening of the eyebrows, even sweating all through, increase of the blood sugar, increase of the respiratory rate, increase of the pulse rate, everything is occurring within one moment. The moment the hypothalamus detects that this is stressful situation, it will occur. So if then suppose if you have run to a safe situation and cobra has gone the other way and you have a sigh of relief, oh my God, saved. Now the parasympathetic nervous system will now work upon it, and all those changes which have occurred will come down now, slowly and slowly. The sweating will stop, the eyes will become normal, the blood pressure will be normal, the sugar level will be normal. So normalcy will be established by parasympathetic or the other way around. If parasympathetic is triggered off, and because of which the respiratory system or particularly the trachea has been constricted, after the stress has gone, it again comes back to normal and normal breathing is established. So this is how the sympathetic and parasympathetic, and the same thing is done even by the endocrine secretions. You know, even the stress secretion, the adrenal glands, when adrenaline is secreted, heartbeat increases, hmm, more sugar in the body. All those things, they are done chemically by endocrine glands and electrical signals by the autonomic nervous system. And the restorative system will bring it back. So this cycle goes on in our life. Now, if there is only temporary stress, this will not create any disease as such, you know. That suppose if you have seen a cobra in the jungle and because of that your blood pressure increased for some time or sugar level has increased for some time, and when you go to the safe place, it comes back, you are not going to suffer from diabetes or you are not going to suffer from hypertension, because the things are restored by the opposite system, parasympathetic nervous system. But suppose if there is a situation in which these fluctuations are taking place 1,000 times in a day, 1,000 times your blood pressure is increasing and decreasing, increasing and decreasing, hmm, then of course there is a permanent change in the blood pressure range itself in your body. Sugar level is increasing now, your parasympathetic brings it back to normal. Before it comes to normal, something else happens, again it is triggered off, and 1,000 times it is happening. So they say that there are two types of people they are recognized in the world. One type of people, they are called as type A personalities. Hmm. Type A personalities are those who are highly sensitive type of people. They want to be always on the top. They don't compromise with, they are perfectionist. A little bit of thing happens, they come under stress. No, 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 I can't tolerate it. This type of people with very, very small, they are hypersensitive type of people. हाइपर, थोड़ा भी कुछ हो गया तो आग बबूले हो जाते हैं, उनका ब्लड प्रेशर एकदम चढ़ जाता है। और ऐसा 1000 बार अगर होने लगा दिन में इन द मॉर्निंग, सो एक्चुअली देयर वाज a गैजेट which was developed to measure the blood pressure, and you can tie it on your wrist like a wristwatch, and it goes on measuring your blood pressure every now and then. And at the end of the day, you can get a graph of your blood pressure, how many times the blood pressure has shot up and come down, again shot up and come down, again shot up and come down. And they saw many executives, this is what is happening early in the morning. If the newspaper doesn't come in time, their blood pressure goes up. What is this? I am not able to, because somehow or the other, there are many people who take the newspaper and go to the toilet. Now, what connection toilet has got with the newspaper, we do not know, but that is their habit. If there is no newspaper, no call for the toilet, it is all related in them. Hmm. So, they are delayed to go to the toilet, then they are burning, fretting, fuming. And when they come out, in many of the houses, even husband is working, the wife is working, child also has to go to his school. So the bathroom hours are also regulated, that when one has to go to the bathroom. So suppose if he misses his time to go to the bathroom, the lady goes to the bathroom. Uh, And he comes and he bangs at the door, no, open, I want to go. Now here, in all this situation, what is happening inside is blood pressure is shot up again. When the newspaper finally came, the blood pressure was brought down. Hmm. But when he saw the bathroom door closed, again it shot up. Again he got delayed. And then the traffic, Indian traffic is such that every now and then no signal, and therefore you are. Now these are the situations in which type A personality is very hypersensitive type of personality. So what you guys saying is that you have to observe all these things in yourself. Are you becoming really very hypersensitive? You don't have control over the external factors which may disturb your balance. But there, your inner faculty should come up and see that, oh, it's okay if I can't do anything about the traffic right now. Instead of fretting, fuming, and abusing the government, that so long as this government is there, I tell you, traffic will never be all right. You shout, but what is going to happen? Is it a cure for your thing? So you say, okay, now traffic jam, now I can't do anything about it. So let me listen to some good program on the mobile, or maybe some music, and not be hypersensitive. People do not do that. It is triggered. So when they go to the office, again, if the boss says something, it goes up, down. And they finally saw that many of the people, particularly those who are leading very fast life, गतिशील जीवन पद्धति जिनकी है, those who are running and running and running all the time, even when they come back from the office and sit in front of TV, all the things which have happened in the office are just there in their mind. They are not really relaxing at all, you know. And every time they remember the incident in the office, if he is a manager and if there is strike in the office, and on one side there is management, on the other side there are workers, and he is sandwiched between the management and the worker, the poor fellow after coming from the office also is worried, how do I get rid of them, how I can solve this problem. He doesn't get sleep. So this is how those who are leading very hectic type of life, they are under stress, and that is why stress induced diseases are more in the so-called advanced countries, in the so-called cities like Bombay, or countries like Europe and America and all, where you find many people suffering from asthma, suffering from diabetes, suffering from high, very young people. Young people getting heart attack and dying is very common everywhere. Why? Because of the very nature of lifestyle itself. Lifestyle changes will be necessary. So this is what is happening during the stress situation actually. And then who is responsible for our, so we have to bring that correction to the hypothalamus level itself. In the same situation, all the people are not stressful. एक ही प्रकार की जो घटना होती है, सारे लोग को स्ट्रेस में. नाउ सपोज if you are working in the kitchen and if a lizard comes, the lady in the house will be shouting as if so बहुत बड़ा संकट आ गया ऐसा. Maybe the man in the house will not, ये छोटा तो आप कितने बड़े हैं, वो लिजर्ड तो बहुत छोटी है, कॉकरोच इज वेरी स्मॉल थिंग, व्हाई यू शुड गेट सो मच स्ट्रेस? So situations, in similar situations, people do not get stress. All the people do not get stress. So this is what you have to really learn, and then learn to cope up with the stress, not to get stressful even in any situation. That is what you have to work at. That is what yoga therapy is always. So desensitization. Don't be too sensitive. Tell yourself during stress, if in the traffic आपका माथा अगर गर्म होने लगा ना, तो जस्ट क्लोज योर आईज एंड टेल ओके ओके, आई कांट हेल्प इट, देयर इज नथिंग, लेट मी डू लिटिल बिट ऑफ नाम जप, लेट मी जस्ट स्लो डाउन माय ब्रेथ, have a few rounds of deep breathing sitting inside my own car or anything. Everybody will have some different type of things. He should work upon himself and see what brings down the stress. But these are the general thing. If you slow down the breath, mind also slows down. If you do some nama japa, mind may be slowed down. Or if nothing, just divert your mind, just listen to some music, listen to something. So these are the methods which you have to really find out to see that you get rid of the stressful situation. So this is the idea of stress which is there in the science. Okay, so before we will come back now to yoga sister, but in this topic only, if there are some questions, if you want some more clarification on the stress reaction itself, you can ask. If you want, you can ask. अगर आपको ये तनावजन्य स्थिति है और तनावजन्य स्थिति में किस प्रकार हमारे अंतःस्रावी ग्रंथि काम करती है, स्वायत्त मज्जा संस्था काम करती है, और कौन से बदलाव हमारे शरीर में आते हैं, ऐसी चर्चा हमने की। और हमने ये भी देखा कि एक ही प्रकार की परिस्थिति सबको तनावजन्य स्थिति में नहीं लाती है। देर आर पीपल हु कैन स्टे काम एंड क्वाइट। अभी जो युद्धजन्य स्थिति थी, हम लोग टीवी के न्यूज देख के टेंशन में आते थे। दोज हु वर ऑन द बॉर्डर, आवर जवान्स एंड अदर थिंग्स, they were calm and quiet. There was no tension for them. They cannot become the soldiers if they have lot of tension after seeing the enemy. So same situation can create tension in one, no tension in other. But that depends upon your psyche, your mind, how you take the situation. Okay, that is where precisely the yoga works. So any questions anybody wants to ask? So, okay, I take it that later on also you can ask questions, but now we are going to again how the science of illness had been told in Yoga Vasishta. So, particularly the science of psychosomatic ailments according to Yoga Vasishta. ये जो मनोशारीरिक रोग है, जो 90% रोग तो हमने देखा कि मनोशारीरिक ही है, तो उनके बारे में योग वशिष्ठ में क्या लिखा है? सो मनोशारीरिक रोगों को ही वो आदि ऐसा कहते हैं। एंड दे स्टार्ट्स एट मनोमय कोशा लेवल। we know, we'll come to that also. Our personality is fivefold. Everybody knows about it. The Upanishads tell that we have 5 levels of our personality. Annamaya kosha, this physical body which we see, in which there are bones and there are flesh and bone and everything. This is Annamaya kosha. Because it is sustained by food, it is called as food sheath, अन्नमय कोश। अगर अन्न नहीं खाएंगे तो ये शरीर बचेगा ही नहीं, इसलिए उसको अन्नमय शरीर कहते हैं। Even subtler than that and more expansive is called as pranamaya sharira, pranamaya kosha, the vital sheath where prana shakti flows. You know, that is why the living beings, they are called as prani. जो जिंदा है ना, उसको प्राणी ऐसा बोलते हैं। प्राणी का मतलब क्या है जिसमें प्राणमय कोश है, जिसमें प्राण शक्ति का संचार है, उसको प्राणी कहते हैं। और जब मरा हुआ है उसको निष्प्राण कहते हैं। अगर मर गया तो वो निष्प्राण हो गया, प्राण शक्ति चली गई, दैट इज प्राणमय कोश, you know. And subtler than that is manomaya kosha, the mental being, manomaya kosha, where we experience raga dvesha, where we experience emotions, anger, jealousy, hatred. All that is manomaya kosha. हमारे मनोमय कोश में ये सारे विकार हमको दिखाई देते हैं. And then there is विज्ञानमय कोश, the seed of discrimination, viveka. We are able to know what is right, what is wrong. The intellectual sheath is known as Vijnanamaya Kosha. And finally, the spiritual sheath, which is known as Anandamaya Kosha, which is our real nature, really speaking. In Anandamaya Kosha, there is no disease. In Anandamaya Kosha, we are all one. The same universal consciousness comes in the Anandamaya Kosha. Okay, so these are the 5 levels of our personality. And what yoga is telling is, and we shall discuss that a little later again, is this, that if there is harmony between these different levels of our personality, you have complete health. पूर्ण स्वास्थ्य का लाभ उसी को होता है जो ये पांचों कोश पर जिसकी सुसंगति होती है. ये पांचों कोश, they are in complete harmony with each other. If there is disharmony, it creates disease. Disharmony creates disease. Harmony creates health. And what is disharmony and harmony? Suppose if you have harmonium and if you don't know how to play it, and if you go on just putting, sounds will come. But we'll say, oh, stop that noise. You are making a lot of noise. Stop that. Because disorder brings disharmony. But if somebody knows it and he plays it also, it's music. Please play it. I like it. It's music. Because the notes, the same notes, but they are coming in a certain order, it becomes music. If there is disorder, it becomes a noise. In the same way, these different levels of personality, if they are in order, then we have health. If they are in disorder, we have disease. So that is why Sri Aurobindo says, disease is an external manifestation of an inner disorder. Disease is an external manifestation of an inner disorder. आपका मनोमय कोश, आपका प्राणमय कोश, आपका अन्नमय कोश, इसमें अगर झगड़ा चल रहा है, इसमें अगर तनाव पैदा हुआ है, तो वो ही रोग के रूप में, व्याधि के रूप में प्रकट होता है. इसमें अगर सामंजस्य है, then you go towards health. So yoga therapy in simple way is to bring back the harmony between the different levels of our personality. So Yoga Vasishtha, in the chart which I have shown to you, how the psychosomatic diseases occur, they say that there is no disease at the Anandamaya Kosha level, at the bliss sheath level. In Vijnanamaya Kosha level also there are movements, but there is no disease as such. The diseases really, but in Ayurveda, they say that the root of the disease is prajna paradha. This is a very typical term which is used in Ayurvedic science. Prajna aparadha, prajna paradha. Prajna paradha in simple way is wrong thinking. Diseases, the origin of the disease is in wrong thinking. You are not thinking rightly in your life. Your wrong thinking, the disease starts according to Ayurvedic system. So Vijnanamaya Kosha also is not functioning properly. You are not discriminating and saying this is good, this is bad, and this is papa, this is punya, and because you are not able to discriminate, you are going by the way of Papa, and therefore you start suffering. So according to Ayurveda, disease starts at the Vijnanamaya Kosha level. Here they say that it really starts at the Manomaya Kosha level. मानसिक तनाव, इसलिए उनको तनावजन्य रोग कहते हैं, मेंटल एजिटेशंस. And the main pair of opposite which brings mental agitation is raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. I like something, and if I don't get it, I have agitation in the mind. I hate something, but I have to do what I hate. I don't like to go to the office and work for such a long time, but I have to do it because I have to really, job is to be sustained. Students don't like to study much, and they want to watch the cricket match and all that. And the parents say, stop it. No cricket match, your exam has come, go and study. And they are fretting, fuming, they are opening the book, but the mind is not there at all. That is why a lot of mental agitation, because you are not allowed to do what you like. So strong likes and dislikes create waves in the mind, waves in the manomaya kosha, which creates lot of tension at the mental level. This is the first pair of, and there are many other, but this is the main pair of opposite. Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayo. Mana apamana, sukha dukha, victory, defeat. These are all the pairs of opposite. Dvandva. इसको द्वंद्व ऐसा कहते हैं. मुझे मान मिला, सम्मान मिला, तो आई गेट इलेटेड, एक्साइटेड, ओ ग्रेट ग्रेट ग्रेट, आई गॉट दैट प्राइज, आई एम ग्रेट. और अपमान क्या, क्या तू क्या है यार, कुछ भी नहीं है, एंड वी गेट इंसल्टेड एंड वी सफर. मान अप, शीत उष्ण, nowadays hot, and the electric current goes and your AC is not functioning. You say, how can I study now when there is no AC? How can I sleep? Shita Urushna. And you are disturbed completely at the mental level. Sukha, dukkha. Sometimes happiness will be there. Sometimes misery is there. Your son goes to the foreign countries and you are not going to meet him for a long time. You say, oh, how can I live without him? Dukkha. If he comes back for a few days, sukha. Okay. So these are the dvandvas, but the main dvandva which has been told is, dvandva means conflict, is likes and dislikes. So what yoga is saying here is, reduce the intensity of your likes and dislikes. Raga dvesha kam karo. और हो सके तो you should completely eliminate raga and dvesha. Yesterday also we were discussing that if you have become so sensitive, a little bit of negative remark from XYZ and you are off mood whole day. Now you can't control the other person. You can't control them, how they will say, but you can have the capacity to kartum akartum anyatha kartum shaknosi. Yesterday we saw that sutra. So you have the capacity, okay, yes, said this. If there is some substance, I will take and correct myself. If there is no substance, I will not take it to my heart. This is what we mean by decreasing the intensity of likes and dislikes. Even we are not able to see even cricket match without likes and dislikes. If our team is losing, my goodness, there are people who had heart attack because the player whom they like came and was clean bowled first ball and they had heart. What you can do about it? In the recent World Cup I read, when they lost the match, Pakistan, so many TV sets were broken. टीवी सेट क्या करेंगे, अभी तुम्हारा टीम खेल रहा है, वो टीवी सेट दिखा रहे, हार गया टीवी, मार के. So you can have good business of TV and other if you go to Pakistan and such other people, hypersensitive people. Like Sunday, you should enjoy the match, the cricket itself, and not. So all this comes because of the idea of me and mine. I don't want to lose. I want to win. I want to be on the top. Now, what Yoga Vasishtha says, that this starts at Manomaya Kosha level and comes down to the Pranamaya Kosha level. And in Yoga Vasishtha, the verse, there are so many verses in Yoga Vasishtha, and they say that the flow of prana in the nadis is like a flood coming into the river. जैसे नदी में बाढ़ आ जाती है, इस प्रकार प्राण का जो प्रवाह है, मान लो उसमें बाढ़ आ जाती है। नदी में जब बाढ़ आती है तो नदी अपने पात्र में नहीं रहती है, वो बढ़ जाती है, वो गांव में घुस जाती है। इट डिस्ट्रॉयज सो मेनी थिंग्स। इन द सेम वे prana doesn't flow only through their own channels, pranic channels. It starts destroying the things which are around. So irregular flow of prana, once the mind is disturbed, nadis become unstable. Nadis are the channels of prana. जिसमें प्राण का प्रवाह जाता है उसको नाड़ी बोलते हैं. So the nadis become unstable, the flow of prana becomes haphazard, uncontrollable, okay, and that has its own effect on the annamaya kosha level. So disease starts at the manomaya kosha level in mental tension. Immediately the flow of prana becomes totally irregular, totally haphazard. As a result of that, at the Annamaya Kosha level, changes occur. And according to Yoga Vasishtha, the first system to be affected is the digestive system. Yoga Vasishtha बताता है कि पहला परिणाम पचन संस्था पर होता है, और 3 प्रकार के पचन संस्था के रोग हमें हो सकते हैं, जिसको योग वशिष्ठा में अजीर्णत्वम, कुजीर्णत्वम, अतिजीर्णत्वम. These are the 3 digestive disorders which occur at the digestive level as soon as you get under tension. That is why I told that you should not take food when you are under tension. It is better to fast if you are under too much tension. Better to fast rather than take something and have problems in the digestive system. So ajirnatvam means you are not able to digest the food. If the digestive secretions are not enough, जो पाचक रस हमारे हैं पचन संस्था के अंदर, वो सही मात्रा में नहीं है, तो जो खाया हुआ अन्न है उसका पचन पूर्ण रूप से नहीं होता है, अन्न का पचन नहीं होता है. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड अजीर्णत्वम, indigestion. You are suffering from indigestion problems. Kujirnatvam means wrong digestion. The food which you take is really putrefied. You know, putrefaction of food. You know, there are 2 important symptoms of kujirnatvam, wrong digestion. One is in belching. When you belch, डकार आती है तो उससे दुर्गंध आती है, डकार में दुर्गंध आती है. शौच में भी बहुत ज्यादा दुर्गंध आती है. A person who has kujirnatvam, if he goes to lavatory and after that if you go, you find that oh, it's a horrible smell because of kujirnatvam. This is a symptom of kujirnatvam. Food is getting putrefied inside. Okay. And then atijirnatvam, not only the food is digested, but some parts of the body also get digested. The digestive secretions are so strong that not only they start digesting the food, but they start digesting some parts of our own body. And the classic example of that is ulcers. You know, duodenal ulcer, peptic ulcer. Because in the stomach, there is mucous membrane. In our stomach, श्लेष्म का एक स्तर होता है हमारे जठर के आजू बाजू में दीवार पर एक श्लेष्म का स्तर होता है, जिसके वजह से हम जब खाते हैं ना, तो जो पाचक रस हमारे शरीर में सिक्रीट होते हैं, उसमें से एक पाचक रस एक्चुअली हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड है. इट्स अ वेरी स्ट्रांग हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड. And they have done experiments on, if you take that hydrochloric acid and throw it on the floor will burn, because the floor, the calcium carbonate is there in our floor, so immediately carbon dioxide will be released. You can see इतना वो strong होता है hydrochloric acid, and that strong hydrochloric acid first dissolves the layer of mucous membrane and then reacts with the abdominal wall itself, creating wounds on the abdominal wall, which we call as peptic ulcers. And in the same way, even in the esophagus, अन्न नलिका या duodenum जिसको बोलते हैं, the joint between अन्न नलिका and जठर, esophagus and the abdomen, that is duodenum. So there also the scratches will occur, wounds will occur. That is called duodenal ulcer, peptic ulcer. This is atijirnatvam. Not only the food is digested, our own parts of the body are. Even TB also same thing happens in TB. इसलिए आदमी कृश हो जाता है असल में. So that is atijirnatvam. So, and then that results into vyadhi, the disease. So disease starts at the mental level, मनोमय कोशा लेवल, राग द्वेष, तनाव. उसके बाद प्राणमय कोश में प्राण का प्रवाह अव्यवस्थित हो जाता है, like flood coming into the river. The prana flows in the nadis. Nadis become unstable. Then the first system to be affected is digestive system, where ajirnatvam, ujirnatvam, atijirnatvam, three kinds of digestive problems come. As a result of that, you get vyadhi, the disease. And the disease could be hypertension, could be diabetes, could be asthma, could be joint pains. Now, one question which can obviously come is, if stress is the common reason, why different people get different disease? अगर तनाव यही कारण है, अगर उसको हम तनाव जन्य रोग ऐसा कहते हैं, तो तनाव के बाद किसी को रक्तचाप हो जाता है, किसी को दमा आ जाता है, किसी को मधुमेह आता है. Why there are different diseases? If the stress is the common reason, there are three reasons for this. Why different diseases come? One of the reasons is of course heredity, अनुवंशिकता. सबसे पहला बहुत बड़ा कारण है कि आपके फैमिली में ही अगर मधुमेह है तो फिर तनावजन्य स्थिति में आपको मधुमेह हो जाएगा. आपके फैमिली में ही अगर रक्तचाप है, हाइपरटेंशन है, हाई ब्लड प्रेशर है, तनावजन्य स्थिति में आपको हाइपरटेंशन आ जाएगा. फैमिली में ही दमा है, दमा आ जाएगा. सो फैमिलियल टेंडेंसी इज वन ऑफ द थिंग्स. This is very important, because if that is so, suppose if the parents, it is not 100% sure that parents are suffering from say diabetes or for say asthma, child must suffer from asthma. ऐसा कोई rule नहीं है, but the possibility is more. And therefore, in such thing, if you are yoga students, start teaching them Jalaneti, Sutraneti, Vaman Dhauti, right from the childhood itself, so that immunity will develop. If you are having diabetes in the family, right from the beginning, Ahara Niyantran. Don't give them so many chocolates and sweets and this and that, and see that they get control over their diet right from the beginning. So this is a familial tendency. If you see in children, you take care of them, you say that, oh, and if they, motapa is, they say that obesity is a younger sister of diabetes. जो मोटापा होता है ना, वो पहले मोटापा होता है, बाद में डायबिटीज आ जाता है. ऐसा बहुत बार देखा गया है. मोटापा, दे आर क्लोजली रिलेटेड. एंड नाउअडेज children, they are overweight children, many children, and परिस्थिति उसके लिए कारण है. हमारे स्कूल में ग्राउंड्स नहीं है. स्कूल में केवल सिलेबस पढ़ाओ और वो बस कंठस्थ करो, सब लिखो, और जैसा कल मैंने मार्क्सवादी है, हमारे मार्क्स चाहिए हमको. एंड वी डोंट आस्क द चिल्ड्रन टू गो टू द ग्राउंड एंड प्ले. फिजिकली नो वर्क, mentally lot of work. Mathematics, they are very sharp children, Within no time, they will work on the mobile and tell you everything. Child. But physically, they are not doing anything. Now you take care of that was the eating lays and watching the TV, and you will find hefty fellows, 10 years old. Now, as parents or as yoga teachers, immediately see that they start doing exercise and keep weight under control, because this is what is the root of the disease. And after certain level you can't control this. अभी 40 साल का हो गया, उसके बाद इतना मोटा भाई कितना काम करेंगे उसके ऊपर. So these are the things. So the first reason is the heredity. That is why when you see a patient, take a report of their what, not only of the patient, but their parents, even grandparents, even maternal uncle. Parents may not have diabetes, but maternal uncle has diabetes, it can come. Grandparents, somebody suffering from asthma, it can come. So find out the familial tendency, taking report. That is the one thing. Then the second is the environment in which you are living. जिस माहौल में आप रहते हैं, उस माहौल ही अगर ऐसा है कि जिसमें टेंशन पैदा होता है. You are living in Bombay and you have to wake up early, catch a particular local 8:44, which is fully crowded in place like Ghatkopar or something. You can't get in. And this is everyday trouble, not one day trouble. It's okay. Every day, every day. And naturally, so many people, they have the high blood pressure. You are staying in Chembur. And one of the reports which was published in Times of India some 5-6 years before about Chembur, they called it gas chamber. Because they said, the report says really that staying in Chembur and breathing in Chembur is equivalent to smoking 10 packets of cigarette every day. The damage that is caused to your lungs by smoking 10 packets of cigarette, you get the same damage just by staying in Chembur because of air pollution. Terrible air pollution. Now it might have increased, I don't know. But some 5-10 years before, it was really gas chamber and people were suffering. So many people. So yoga therapy camps can go on in Chembur very nicely. That is the area where you can catch so many asthmatics, But you conduct the course somewhere else, it will be better result, not in Chembur itself. So environment, the way you are living in polluted environment, you are living a life which is very fast, hectic life, competitive life, cutthroat competition. This is called as rat race. We are having that rat, everybody running, 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 So no time to relax at all. No time to relax at all. So ये गतिशील जीवन पद्धति है, ये पद्धति कहीं तो भी बदलनी होगी. How you will relax? You should learn to relax at the workplace itself. This is what you have to tell your patient, because you are going to be yoga therapist. You have to teach even we used to teach that even the executives, when you have some 5 minutes, you stretch your body completely. Stretch. While sitting in your chair, stretch your body, stretch your muscles, and then sit and have few rounds of long breathing. 4-5 minutes in your chair itself. You should be able to recognize the tension. So many people, they don't recognize at all that I am suffering from tension. I am losing my equipoise. I am getting angry very soon. I start abusing very soon. Awareness, developing that awareness, ये मेरा समत्व बार बार ढलता है, इसके प्रति सजग होना चाहिए पहले. वाइफ इज टेलिंग दैट यार आप कितने छोटे छोटे चीजों में आप गुस्सा हो जाते हैं. ऐसा बताने से वो गुस्सा, कौन कहता है मेरे को गुस्सा आता है? मेरा फॉल्ट निकालती है, क्या समझती है? दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. slow. So you have to be really very skillful. डायरेक्टली ऐसा बोलो, क्या तुम आदमी हो यार, बार बार गुस्सा आते हो, मेरे को भी ये करते हो, चुप बैठो. Now you are not yoga therapist at all. Not at all. You know, there is a way you should develop the way, even your voice. If you are giving shavasana, even if you are saying, relax, relax your toes, relax your feet, this is the way to give shavasana. So you should develop. Yoga therapy should have very soothing voice. If you yourself are tense, अभी 10 मिनट में मुझे फ्लाइट पकड़नी है, तेरे को शवासन देता हूँ, हाँ, ऐसा तो नहीं चलता है योगा थेरेपी में. हाँ, so your voice should be very soothing voice. You should yourself be calm and quiet, and slowly bring awareness to that person that because of this you are suffering. Not because you create problems for me, but you are creating problems for yourself. ऐसा कब बताओ? पिकनिक में जाते समय बताओ, उसको पहले अच्छा खाना खिलाओ, उसका मूड अच्छा करो, उसके बाद बताओ कि देखो हाँ ऐसा है, आज मैंने ऐसा सुना, आगाशे सर सब बता रहे थे ना, तो उन्होंने ऐसा ऐसा बताया कि आप ही आपके लिए टेंशन क्रिएट करते हैं, आप सोचो इसके बारे में, मुझे नहीं मालूम, मैं ऐसा नहीं कर रही हूँ, मैं नहीं कर रही हूँ, लेकिन उन्होंने ऐसा बताया तो मुझे लगा ये अच्छा है, आपको मालूम होना चाहिए, और आप सोच लो ऐसा हो रहा है क्या. मे बी ही विल गेट अवेयर दैट यस दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. सो not having awareness of our own tensions and not having awareness that we are creating tension for ourselves. So, and then if we are creating, can we release those tension at the workplace itself? Hmm. Yoga is not something which is to be practiced only 1 hour in the morning and then nothing to be done at all times. That is what I said, that you can breath control you can have anytime, everywhere. Nama japa you can have anytime, everywhere. So many sadhanas you can do at all times, and this is the thing which you have to develop within ourselves, even in the office work also. You at 5 o'clock when your office is over, you are about to go and boss calls you and he gives you 2 huge files. अभी देखो बहुत अर्जेंट है ये, मुझे मालूम नहीं, और ये अर्जेंट से कंप्लीट करना है. Immediately irritation will come. What is this? What nonsense? I told my wife that we'll go for picture today, and now what she will think about me? Now you can't have anything. So you sit and you say, oh, this has come. So calmly telephone to your wife that, excuse me, I can't come. My darling, tomorrow I will show you 2 pictures instead of one. Don't worry and don't call me, please, for another 2 hours. You tell your place that, okay, I have no option. So why not do it in a relaxed way? Because if I am doing in irritated way, there will be more and more mistakes and I have to sit longer and longer in the office. This is how at the workplace you have to convince yourself. This is convincing from the Vijnanamaya Kosha level. So this is what is happening. This is what, so first reason we saw was the environmental situation or the heredity. Then second, the environmental situation. Third is of course, weakness of organ and organic system right from the birth itself. जन्मता ही आपका हृदय वीक है, somehow or the other, so you are likely to suffer from heart diseases. जन्म से ही आपके रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम में प्रॉब्लम है, so you will have breathing trouble. So weakness of organ और ऑर्गेनिक सिस्टम, मेरा डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम पहले से ही जन्म से ही प्रॉब्लम है. So these are the 3 main reasons because of which, though stress is the common factor, somebody will suffer from diabetes, somebody from hypertension, somebody from asthma, somebody from joint pains. Okay, so that is why the diseases become different, though the reason is same. Any questions so far before we proceed further? Anybody wants to ask anything? Yes, 5-10 minutes are remaining. So now in the holistic approach which we have to work at the all levels of our, you have to work at Annamaya Kosha level. What are the practices as yoga students, at Annamaya Kosha level. First of all, diet restriction, particularly in diabetes and other, and for everybody, in fact, lot of oil, lot of spices, lot of salt, lot of मतलब जिसको तामसिक आहार, I will advise you to go through the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where three kinds of diets have been told: सात्विक आहार, राजसिक आहार, तामसिक आहार. हाँ? तो बहुत खट्टा, बहुत मीठा, बहुत spicy, we have to avoid. Even common people have to avoid, and definitely patients have to avoid. So ahar niyantran at Annamaya Kosha level. Then suppose if he is tamasic in nature, lazy fellow in nature, maybe you have to give dynamic exercises first, loosening exercises, breathing exercises, such kinds of exercise. So what type of exercises you give, asanas you give, depend upon the age of the patient, the severity of the disease, and you have to get feedback. He should not feel suffocated, he should not feel some trouble. आराम से करने लायक जो व्यायाम है वो उसको देना चाहिए, लेकिन थोड़ा व्यायाम तो देना चाहिए. जस्ट हैंड्स इन एंड आउट ब्रीदिंग, hands up and down breathing. Then if he is a heart patient, you obviously cannot give jogging and other things, or you cannot give him topsy-turvy postures. If he is suffering from hypertension, रक्तचाप का अगर है तो उसको शीर्षासन नहीं दे सकते, उसको सर्वांगासन नहीं दे सकते. तो डूज एंड डोंट्स जो है वो अच्छी तरह से तो देखना चाहिए, कौन सा मनुष्य क्या कर सकता है. सो suitable type of asanas, suitable types of the breathing exercises, loosening. Sukshma vyayams are excellent for joint pains. Griva Shakti Vikasa, Kaponi Shakti Vikasa. There are 10 kinds of Sukshma vyayams which are given for joint pains. So see the patient and see what he can do. Nothing is to be forced. न हठात न बलात्. पहला बात ये तो ध्यान में रखना चाहिए, बल का प्रयोग नहीं करना, ऐसा करना ही है तुमको, ऐसा नहीं बताना है. So slowly and slowly his capacity will increase. He will see what can be done about it. So that is the thing which you have to understand. Then at Pranamaya Kosha level, pranayama, the most important thing. And before pranayama even, you know, the study tells us that we are not breathing completely to the capacity of our lungs. You know, if we breathe completely, if we inhale completely, exhale completely, normal healthy individual is capable of taking 5 liters of air or exhaling 5 liters of air. So generally healthy person, his lung capacity is 5 liters. But right now, if we measure our breathing, it will be hardly half a liter, hardly half a liter. So we are using only 1/10 the capacity of our lungs when we breathe. This capacity has to increase by regular deep breathing itself is the first thing. And for that, yogic breathing is there. And we all know abdominal breathing, thoracic breathing, clavicular breathing, and including all these things, yogic breathing, abdominal plus thoracic plus clavicular, complete breathing is called yogic breathing, in which that, you know, when you do abdominal breathing, you have this this mudra, you know, chin mudra. When you are doing the thoracic breathing, chinmay mudra. And then when you are doing clavicular, adi mudra, you know. And if you are doing the yogic breathing, there should be Brahma Mudra. This is kept here in the near the just below the navel. It is called Brahma Mudra. Okay. So like that, different mudras are used in the breathing, and you teach them complete breathing itself. And as I told you, even in the workplace also, whenever you have time, in even day-to-day time also, sit for 2-3 minutes, have 5-10 rounds of deep breathing, you know. That will increase the health, that will increase the strength and stamina, breathing and stamina. And we know our sages discovered that breathing and the mind, they are very closely related to each other. That is what Hatha Yoga Pradipika says. Chale vate, chalam chittam, nischale, nischalam bhavet, yogis thanutvam apnoti, tato vayum nirodhayet. So whenever you are under tension, if you slow down the breath, you are able to slow down the mind. If the breathing is haphazard, shallow, irregular, mind is also haphazard, shallow, irregular. If you slow down the breath, you are able to slow down the mind. Fastness of the mind is one indication of stress. In every stress, the mind becomes very fast mind. चिंता करने वाला जो मन होता है, गतिशील मन, वही ज्यादा से ज्यादा तनाव पूर्ण मन होता है. तो आप, if you slow down the breath, you are able to slow down the mind. And then pranayama proper. I wouldn't advise you to give kumbhaka to the patients. Only Puraka Rechek, particularly in Yoga Vasishtha, they have emphasized on slow inhalation, slow exhalation. And rather watching a state between inhalation and exhalation, automatic cessation of breath, केवल कुंभक स्थिति, इसके ऊपर ज्यादा योग वशिष्ठ में ज्यादा emphasis दिया है. Not holding the breath as Hatha Yoga. So there are two schools of pranayama. We will not go into the details, we don't have time. So Hatha Yogic school emphasizes on bandhas and kumbhakas. It is good for that, lot of teaching and other things. The Vasishtha school is a just slow down and become aware of the automatic cessation after each inhalation. When the inhalation is complete and exhalation has not started, there is automatic cessation. It may be for few seconds. And when you exhale completely, before the inhalation starts, there may be automatic cessation of breath outside. When you slow down the breath, this Keval Kumbhaka range goes on increasing. That is what they say. So this is what you can do. And some of the pranayamas are good. Ujjayi, for instance, in Hatha Yoga Pradipika also, they चलते फिरते उठते बैठते कभी भी उज्जाई प्राणायाम कर सकते हैं. So Ujjayi pranayam you can give even to the patient if he is lying down. Partial contraction of the glottis, and there is a sound, sa sound when you inhale and exhale, which is called as Ujjayi pranayam. You must be knowing all about it. So that can be given to the patients and say that you lie down and just try to enjoy the sound. And if you sleep in that also, the quality of the sleep will better. So Bhramari pranayam, Ujjayi pranayam, and of course Nadi Shuddhi pranayam. Nadi Shuddhi you should give. We know that the balance, if there is balance between the Ida and Pingala, the mind also comes to balance. So these three pranayamas, they are really very important. Without Kumbhaka you don't give to any patient at all. I won't advise you. So like that pranayama practice is done. Then practice of meditation at the Manomaya Kosha level, bhajan, kirtan, puja. You have to take interview and see whether he has inclination towards, he likes God, he likes worship. थोड़ी भक्ति का भाव उसके पास है तो पूजा अर्चा भी उसको बहुत काम आएगी. कैसे? आप आपका जो टेंशन है ना वो भगवान को बता दो. Stand before the Lord for few minutes and tell, oh Lord, this is happening, I can't do it, but you please give me solution. Communicate with God. Lot of tensions can be released through communication. Prayer, puja, prayer is one thing which is very powerful, That is why in USA there are many prayer groups. Maybe tomorrow I will tell you about what is the research which is done on the prayer. So doing prayer, doing bhajan, doing kirtan, doing meditation, these are working at the Manomaya Kosha level to release the tension at the Manomaya Kosha level, which is the origin of all diseases. Diseases arise at the Manomaya Kosha level. तो माइंड अगर शांत हो जाएगा मन तो डिसीज शांत हो जाएगा. And at Vijnanamaya Kosha level, you have to use your discrimination, Viveka. You have to see actually your life and see what are the situations under which you are getting tense. Study your life और देखो कि कहाँ कहाँ कौन सी जगह में मुझे ज्यादा से ज्यादा टेंशन आता है. Get awareness of those tensions and then have your own triggers to release those tensions as soon as you develop. And for that, what you call as notional corrections, we have fixed notions. There are so many people, दृढ़ भावना होती है अंदर, ये मेरा शत्रु है. और मैंने अगर सवेरे सवेरे दरवाजा खोला और वो शत्रु ही दिखाई दिया, मैं बोला आज का दिन तो गया मेरा काम से अभी. नो, दिस इज नोशन. व्हाट हिज फेस हैज टू डू विथ योर लाइफ. अभी अरे यार इसका फोन आया सवेरे सवेरे, गया मेरा पूरा दिन गया. नो 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 नो, डोंट थिंक लाइक दैट. ही कैनॉट डिसाइड योर लाइफ सिचुएशन. ऐसे बहुत सारे नोशंस हमारे अंदर पड़े हुए हैं. ऐसा हुआ तो ऐसा होगा, वैसा हुआ तो वैसा होगा, और फिर हमको चिंता लगने लगती है कि आज ये तो अपशकुन हो गया. तो अभी तो मैं काम से ही गया. ये सब वी हैव टू करेक्ट इट विद डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. दिस इज वेयर विज्ञानमय कोश हैज टू बी यूज. यूज योर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन and see that you correct your notions, so that is working at Vijnanamaya Kosha level. So this is how, and Anandamaya Kosha level, the spiritual practices which you do, when the calmness comes, automatically you are blissful, you are relaxed. The more relaxed, don't worry, be happy is the final message. Always be happy and don't find out reasons outside for your unhappiness and misery. The reason is inside only. You have to bring correction inside only. That much only you should see. So that is a panchakoshatmak chikitsa hai. You have to work on the all levels of personality. That is why it is said to be integrated approach of yoga therapy. You have to work at all levels. It's not just enough to give asanas and pranayama or leave. You have to give meditation. You have to conduct meditation sessions. You have to really talk to him quite a lot. Understand, you should be with samupadeshan. Counseling is one of the very important aspect of working at Vijnanamaya Kosha level. So if you have patient, you have to be very friendly. He should have confidence in you कि ये मैं बात इसको बोलता हूँ, ये बाहर नहीं जाएगी ये रूम से. उसने अगर बताया कि मेरे सास के कारण मुझे बहुत टेंशन आता है, और आपने सास को ही जाके बताया देखो तुम ही कारण हो उसका, तो आप बढ़ा रहे हो उसका डिसीज. जाकर उसको कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए कि इसको बताने से ये बाहर नहीं जाएगी. You have to be friendly, and then slowly you have to give him tips how he can interact with his mother-in-law and still have no tension, interact with the boss but still have no tension. That is samupadeshan, counseling. This is also important aspect of working at Vijnanamaya Kosha level. So we have exceeded the time actually. So we have done quite a lot in integrated approach of yoga therapy. Questions we can take tomorrow now. If you have any questions, we can have question answer because we have exceeded the time today. And any questions and something which is remaining, we can discuss tomorrow. So thank you very much for your very precious time. I see very bright faces in front of me, and when I see such faces, I have the energy from inside to talk. So thanks to you. You are definitely good therapy teachers, because if you are not relaxed, how can you relax others? तुम्हारा ही चेहरे पर इतना टेंशन है, अरे तुमको क्या हुआ है, ऐसा करके जाएंगे तो वो खत्म ही जाएगा. So you should be relaxed, you should be smiling, you should be, then only you can make others smile. So okay, let us stop here. Thank you, and we'll meet tomorrow again.
We'll do one Om Shanti. One Om Shanti.
We'll have the final prayer. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत, हरि ओम तत्सत, हरि ओम तत्सत।